Sup Shredders, my name is Logan aka Spiderhands and welcome to NSP Reviews, where today I have the pleasure of reviewing some music from an act named Hicks, and this track is titled Nights in Livermere. So if we switch over to here, we have the track on Spotify. We're going to listen through this track from start till finish and we're going to hear what we think. Let's go. Oh, some lovely Foley to start off with some pads, some synth pads. That build is dope. Oh, that production's sublime, dude. Oh, that portamento on the 808 or that bass synth is exquisite. So fresh sounding. Okay. Before we go any further, I just want to say that is a banging hook. I have been listening to a bit of music like this recently, stuff that's like influenced from the likes of like XXXTentacion and stuff like that. You see, he's released a fair bit of music over the last year or so, from 2020 to 2022. It's strong. This sounds like commercially ready. It sounds like it's ready to be released. It's like the whole package so far, effectively. There's so much stuff I want to talk about, so I'll keep it brief so that we can continue through the track. The first thing I want to talk about is I love those harmonized vocals there. I'm not sure if he's recorded two tracks separately or if he's like harmonizing off of the bass track in a way that's sort of using like a vocoder or something like that. I think it works incredibly well. It's a lovely sense of brightness and adds a bit more presence to the vocals in the mix. It forces you to pay attention to them. I like that we had the theme instantiated at the start, the musical theme, so that we could just have the music kind of sit in there. The sound of it, that kind of ominous, kind of that sense of darkness, that sort of futuristic dread. It sort of gives me, makes me feel like I'm having it. It sounds like you're in the underworld, right? It matches the aesthetic in that artwork really, really well. We'll continue though. Just how well that bass sits to that part of the mix without kind of stuttering. And that dynamic range as well with that little pluck kind of little melody we got going on here. Space in the mix is exceptional, dude.
I got a knife in my pocket, sending my wrist, I won't stop it. I knife in my wrist in a mosh pit, to drop it. Take it back to the start when you knew my tracks. Now I'm at the finish and you know I don't lack. Had so many friends stab me in the back like, whoa. If you don't love me, then tell me. I don't wanna waste my time, bitch. I don't wanna be left behind, bitch. I just wanna slip off the line, bitch. Cause if you wanna die, I'll die with.
Holy shit, I vibe with this so much. This sounds like it should be on like all the kind of playlists that this music syncs well with. I'm not quite sure what genre this fits into. I hate to say hip hop because there is rapping in it, but there's so many different little subgenres of hip hop at the moment, eh? There's some really severe stuff that's discussed in this, like putting knives to wrists and dying together and stuff like that. And it just evokes this real sense of depression, of this heaviness, this crisis that Hicks is going through. I've listened to musicians who do this, and I feel such pain for them because when I was like a teenager, for example, and I'm not saying Hicks is a teenager, but when I was a teenager, we had the emo music stuff coming back from like the 90s and the mid 2000s. And a lot of this was like this, except it was rock. Now it's got, I mean, obviously the emo stuff is still around, but you've got this electronic sort of really kind of, it's not abrasive. It's almost unsettlingly beautiful. And I can't quite get my head around how they managed to balance the really critically dark, sort of like uncomfortable content with something that is just so mesmerizing and hypnotic to listen to. I don't get how they do it. Damn, that musical theme itself is so catchy. Like I cannot that boom, and just the power and the velocity of those pads. There's some, I don't know. I'm missing words because there's like words I want to use. It's a surreal experience listening to the quality of the instruments and synths within this production. It's so fresh sounding. It's so invigorating to listen to music like this. It makes me really positive for the future, despite how sad I feel for some of the musicians who make it. You know, because they must be going through hell. Like genuinely, I really feel bad for them, but you know, it's a good way of getting your stuff sorted. You know, like make music about it, tell people stories. You know, because I can guarantee that there will be people who can relate to the stuff that's being spoken about within the song. You know, maybe not directly like Nights in Livermere, but you know what I mean. Because this is the conclusion, you know, for Nights in Livermere by Hicks. I think this is one of the best produced tracks of this specific type of hip hop that I've heard. Ever. It's so impressive what they managed to accomplish within this 3.5 minutes. You not only had the really catchy hook with the synth, ominous bass, drums, everything, little bits of dynamic range with the quieter synths, the overdubs, and then the growl, the kind of screamy parts that were really visceral in that last chorus. It was such a very varied performance with an interesting, engaging story, both in its brutality and also almost it sounds like it really in the most sort of weird way possible. It sounds like it came from the heart. It doesn't sound like we're fronting with this kind of material. It sounds like we're going through a really bad time, and that comes through in the music with the story and the vocal performance as well. Hicks is a sensational rapper. You know, those triplets, that's great. The words came through clearly. There's great pronunciation of the syllables and the consonants. The production as well allowed for the vocals to shine. It sounds very current with a lot of stuff from major labels I've heard. You know, like the structure of it was like a hook, verse, hook, with the instrumental intros and outros on the side, and the fact that we were confident enough in what we'd made to allow ourselves to have those instrumental parts on the start of the end is spectacular, like genuinely impressive, and something that Hicks should, pat themselves on the back for. We had this really slow 4-chord progression that came throughout with the 4-note bass line there. No, not 4-note. When we had 4 main notes, but the bass rolled around and kind of felt like you were being smothered by it. And it's such a weird thing because you almost needed those brighter synths kind of to take you out of it. It's like a futuristic sort of like nihilistic kind of cyberpunk kind of vibe I got from this. The production was top tier, and I don't know how they could have improved it. I'm blown away by it, honestly. Like I never know what I'm going into when I listen to music that I review, but this is a 10 out of 10 for me. I would actually listen to this like outside of these reviews, and I don't do that with everyone because honestly, like, you know, I listen to a lot of music. Not all of it is stuff I'd listen to again, but this one definitely is. I just really hope the Hicks is doing okay. Yeah. Thank you for watching this review of Hicks's track, Nights in Livermere. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please do go show Hicks some love via his various social medias and Spotify. Stay cool and stay safe, and please also remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as they need the help more than ever with all the great stuff going on in the world. Catch you in the next review. Spiderhands out.